Hello, and welcome to the Radical Fabulatorium. I'm your host, John Adam Ian. Okay, on today's episode, I am chatting with mixing engineer and producer based in Seattle, Washington, Johnny Nails. He's also got a brand new record out called Savor the Blood. It's quite the ripper, so I highly suggest you check it out on his Bandcamp. You can actually grab the album on vinyl, otherwise stream it on your service of choice. Okay, and to check out all things Johnny Nails, you can head to his website, nailsy.world. That's nailsy.world. All right, here we go. My chat with Johnny Nails.
Cool. Well, let's dive right in and start talking. Well, so obviously the new record, Savor the Blood's out now. I stumbled across you, or the first song I heard was Taking Tea with Mr. Crowley.
Oh, okay.
And I know there's kind of like a cool story there with it being a one take, but maybe we could just briefly like rewind and give my listeners like your backstory, just to let them know where you're coming from. Because if I'm not, you came from you grew up playing like jazz music or going to jazz school. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, I grew up playing guitar. My dad's a guitar player, so I grew up with a plastic guitar in my hand since I could hold things. And, a lot of 70s, 60s rock and Motown and stuff like that. And then I'm from Seattle, and I'm, a child of the 90s. So I was around that. I was around it. My school closed when like Kurt Cobain died. It was like our city shut down. We were deeply affected by the music scene here. So, it's in my DNA. So like Soundgarden is probably my favorite Seattle band, is highly all of that stuff is influential on me. Right. So like, and then I get into school, like middle school is when jazz started. And, I started, learning guitar in a new way, not just like chords, like actual theory and things like that. And then by high school, I was in the Roosevelt High School Jazz Band, which I've been out to Montreal with them when I was young, and we toured the world, like Europe and Mexico and China and all these things when I'm like 16 to 18, and, really cut my teeth on learning jazz. And that's what I was set up to do. Was like, go to college for jazz. And, one day I discovered Iggy Pop, and that was pretty much dropout time. I mean, I got hired right out of high school when I was 18, fresh off the high school boat, by Michael Shreve, who's the original drummer from Santana. He's the Woodstock drummer, famously. And he said, "Hey man, do you want to play in a band and tour?" And I went, "Yes, I do." So my jazz really helped, like, keep up with that world, because he's really a jazz drummer, keep up with that world. And I wrote songs with him. And then, the Iggy Pop put this fire under me. And again, I've always loved rock music, but for some reason, when I put Iggy Pop on for the first time in my Nissan Stanza, 1987 Nissan Stanza, and Raw Power came on, and this guitar solo is searingly loud and way too loud. Like, the mix is crazy. I was like, whatever this is, I want this all the time. I want this feeling all the time. So, the jazz really helped me. It educated me. It taught me work ethic. And then Iggy Pop, destroyed all that. And no, I'm teasing. Iggy Pop's a hard work dude. It just made me realize why I love music. I wanted to do it for me, because this was music's always been my safe place. Like, emotionally, if there's trauma in my life, I deal with it through music, which you can see reflects in this record.
So yeah, I do get a lot of that in this record. It feels very personal. And, but maybe we could just focus on, okay, so that's interesting that the jazz thing taught you all the theory. Did you have to, like, when you moved in more into the punk rock Iggy Pop direction, did you have to, like, kind of try to forget the theory, or, like, did those worlds ever collide?
I have a good imagination. And I say that in this context because I can let go and play a character. All of that information resides in the back of my brain at all times. But when I am wearing the mask that is my personal persona mask, I can project that and just think about the emotion behind things and not think about, well, that's not technically correct. Like, I could give 0 Fs about that. Because music's music, and it's good or it's bad. It feels good. I just want it coming from the right place. You know what I mean?
Yep. Totally. Yeah, I had some friends they wrote from feelings first. And when we were in audio engineering college, we took like just a side course for basic theory. And they would refuse to go to class because they were kind of worried. They didn't want to even know the theory. They kind of wanted to remain willfully ignorant to it so that it didn't they were scared it was going to affect their creativity.
I understand that dynamic. I understand that thinking. I don't agree with it. I think you can use all of that knowledge as power to make things better in the end. Don't hide from that. The more you know, it's just gonna help you. I had the same worry when I really started diving deep into music production myself. Was like, I knew an astronomer who really had the magic sucked out of his life, because when he looked up at the stars, he just kind of knew everything. Like, obviously not everything, but when he looked at the stars, he was like, oh, that's that, and that's that, and that's that. And, it kind of like, it kind of dulled the sparkle for him, which is sad. I fortunately have some kind of genetic mutation that the more I know, the more magic it becomes, I don't care. I don't get hung up on like a kick drum. Well, I do get hung up on a kick drum in a mix if it's really terrible, but I can let go of it really easy. I can be like, oh, I see. Yeah, that's still good. Like, if it's coming from a good place, I'm more emotionally attached to music than technically still. So I'm lucky to have that. But tell your friends to learn some music theory. It'll help them.
Yeah, I'll call him out. Hey, James, learn some music theory.
James, when you're dealing with frequencies, you might want to know some theory. It will help you EQ that kick drum.
Hey, yeah, there's a good argument too. That's cool. There's actually, just as an aside, there's a connection between Seattle and the east coast of Canada, New Brunswick, where I am at, because back in the 90s when Sub Pop was kind of exploding onto the scene, they came out here and signed a few bands. Eric's Trip and Sloan and Jail, I believe. They were signed to Sub Pop, which was a huge deal for little old New Brunswick, Canada back in the day.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Sloan, yeah. God damn, that's a good band.
Yeah, they're wicked.
I love that band. And they still tour.
Yeah, they're still at it.
I feel like I just saw them like last year or something.
They were here just a couple of weeks ago. Do you know Eric's Trip? Does that name sound familiar?
No, I don't know that.
I would check them out. They were on Sub Pop too. They put out my favorite album by them is called Purple Blue. Really lo-fi, really like, I don't know, like early emo kind of just lo-fi cool stuff from the 90s.
Awesome. Oh, that's good to know. I mean, I know my Sub Pop, but I'm probably not historically the best at knowing everything. But that's badass. Also, I looked up, I've never been to St. John. I've been all over Canada, but I haven't been out there. And the only state I haven't been to in the United States is Maine, which you're right there. Mm-hmm. I've missed out on you.
Next time. You'll get here eventually, I'm sure.
Yeah, I can't wait.
And so, okay, that's cool. So you have the jazz theory mixed with the punk rock, but then also you went in engineering, which again can cause people to overanalyze, which you touched on. Like when you learn to engineer, again, a lot of people, or some people I know, fear the changes that they're going to have listening to music because they know the engineering, or they kind of know like what's happening technically.
Yeah. I can enjoy music on a different level because of the engineering. And also engineering, I didn't go to college. Like I didn't go to school. I went, jumping back to the Michael Shreve I was 18, 19 years old, he had three houses in Seattle that were all next to each other. So he had his family house, he had a middle house, which was a studio, and then the house that my friend Kevin Saka, who now plays in like Pendulum and things like that, him and I lived in that house. So we would rehearse and work at the middle house. So I had a lot of time to, also this was long ago. This is 2004 or 5. So, my computer. So I had more time on my hands. I was young, and so I could just plug stuff in and mess around. So I was a tinkerer, and also my dad had a 4-track in the basement. So I've always had a little tinkering in me.
Okay.
It wasn't until actually shortly after, I was probably 21, 20, that I made my first record as an engineer, and it's probably not great. But it has a vibe. And then that it's just consistent mistakes until I feel confident about the records I made starting about 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. Which is, I was age 30, Yeah. So that's, the 20s were a lot of mistakes. And now I'm like, I am very good at my job, which is music producing, mix engineer. But all of those failures. And then even some days still, like, sometimes I just have to put it down because I'm like, I suck at this. Why am I doing this? And I have the same conversations with producer friends that are successful in the business. Like we all feel the same way, it's like, I don't know why. I just can't. I suck. Why am I? And then the next day it'll be like, I am a genius. This is great. I would never say that personally, but like, I feel I'm killing it today. This is awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. The old imposter syndrome runs deep in the artistic world.
Or the insecurity. I've been dealing with that.
When you were living at that house rehearsing, was that around the same time you were in the American Idol, doing the American Idol band thing?
No, man. I see how you are. I moved to LA around 2005. So I'm like, I don't know, 21, 22. And then I did the LA thing. Which was really great, and I met great people, and I had some good times, blah, blah, blah. Got signed to a label, moved back to Seattle, built a studio with my former bandmate, Paul Kimball. He was in Grantley, Buffalo. And we destroyed ourselves with alcohol and drugs because we had a bunch of money. That lasted about 6 to 8 months. And then I got a call out of the blue from this guy named Blake Lewis, who's my dear friend, homie, brother. And he used to open up for my band Pistol Star with Paul. And I didn't know, I've never watched I've watched American Idol still to this day one time because I was on it.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know anything. And if I get too rambly, you can shut me down, man. But I got this call from Blake, and I'm miserable because I'm really not. I want to be working. I want to be creating. I don't want to be sitting around getting drunk all day. That's a nightmare. Mm-hmm. And so he just called me, hey, do you want to play in a band? I'm in LA. I said, yep, sure. I was on like the next flight, and it was like so fancy pants. Like I felt like I was getting picked up by a car. I was like, what is happening? And I had the driver stop at Ralph's, which is a grocery store down there. I was like, hey, I just need a pack of smokes. And so I run into the store, grab a pack of smokes, and Blake is on the cover of People magazine, which is like, our fucking, terrible, rag down here. It's just like, I get to rehearsal room in Hollywood. I'm like, what is happening? He's like, oh man, I was on American Idol. You didn't know? I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. I just needed to get out of the house. And that was like 3 really fun years of of like doing television shows and lots of big tour, big rooms, arenas and stuff like that. It was a really fun time. Yeah.
Okay. Your buddy Blake, was he a contestant or he was like working on?
He got second place on whatever season billion ago.
Okay. Cool.
2000 something, 9.
And then you got to be kind of in his backing band as he toured around after the fact, or like, how does that unfold?
Yeah, because he's a sweetheart and he's a real musician. Like he cares more about the music than the business, which is why you probably haven't heard his name. But he hired all of his favorite musicians from Seattle to come be in his band, and we had a freaking awesome band. And we're all friends, and it was just a fun ride to be on,
Yeah.
And seeing the rise and then the fall, and we're still all doing it still. And, American Idol's crazy, huge industry. That really changed my mentality towards the music industry. And then kind of, we caught the tail end of the music industry with money, like 2008, 2009. We were still getting picked up in limos and having way too much money spent on things that went. And I was really mad about it because I don't need a first class ticket. I don't need a car. I will pay for a taxi if you take all that money and give it to me. Because we were all making $130 a day to be playing 30,000 seat arenas. I was like, wait, something is not right here. Because you play these huge shows and then you get home and you don't know what you're doing with your life, and you have $500 and you're like, man, I got to go work the door at a bar or something, It was, but, and then money disappeared from the industry even more so.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're all still scrapping, but it's, who cares about money? I'm just happy doing it still,
Yeah, just being able to stay alive in the industry is kind of like a win on its own. I mean, obviously everyone's got bills to pay and a lot of people have families to raise, but it's like just being able to live the life and work around the industry is kind of a win,
Totally. If it didn't eat you alive, then you're doing pretty good.
Yeah, when you were in the American Idol world, I'm kind of curious. I don't know if I'm asking this the right way, but you start out and you're kind of it's 90% music, 10% business. But when you're into the American Idol world, does that just totally flip where it's 98% business and then 2% music?
Yeah. You are a product. You are not a human. You are a figurine in McDonald's, literally. And you make zero money off of it because you signed an American Idol contract, which they own your image and life for at least 2 years. So despite what you do, if you're a winner or a loser, they own you for 2 years, at least. I don't know the contract anymore. My God. Yeah, it is. And then every decision, it's not musical at all. It's what name can we get on this track to maximize sales?
Mm-hmm.
What a gross thing. What a disgusting way to make a beautiful, perfect art form just destroy it. You just take it and you smash it under a boot,
mm-hmm.
or really crappy online sale sparkly shoe that you bought because you're Hollywood and fake and blah blah blah. Anyway, I'm rambling.
I'm all about the ramble. I'm pro ramble. Yeah,
I'm disgusted by it. And look at the world we live in now.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for a song to end and an artist to be be sure to follow me on blah, 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 and smash the like button. And then the next track starts. And at the end of the next track, they say, be sure to follow me on.
Oh my God. We're basically there. I mean, yeah, it's in the studio. I sometimes will, when I'm sending rough mixes or something, I'll put a little joke in there. It's another one. Johnny Nails, totally ridiculous. Because it's funny, because we have to laugh at it, even though it's terrifying and terrible.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, if it's not fun, it's funny. That's kind of what I always say.
Yeah.
So maybe I just want a couple other questions, just because I don't always get to talk to someone who like yourself with these unique experiences. I heard you mention, and I have heard this mentioned before, but you mentioned in another interview that one of the problems with being on the road is you get that huge adrenaline rush when you're playing or the build up to the show. And then afterwards you're like stuck in that kind of like zone where you're buzzing and you got to come down, and it just can really mess with your mind or mess with the way you approach your health or whatever and stability. And I was just kind of wondering if you could touch on that a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in a good place to talk about that because I've the science behind all of it is really interesting now that we are paying attention to such things. You do have these huge adrenaline spikes, and then you're in a constant state of fight or flight. You're traveling, you're unsafe everywhere all the time, despite you being probably fine. But your body's telling you, oh my God, I got to watch out for every alley and things like that. And I've seen some pretty scary things in different places. I've had weapons pulled on me and things like that, just walking into a venue. So, you're kind of constantly on threat level 5. And then add to that, you have this okay, that's just walking into the venue. Then you get through sound check, then you hang out, you're bored, you're bored, and then a lot of the times people start drinking when they're bored.
Yep.
I did that for a long time. And then you play your show and you have this massive adrenaline rush and this massive dopamine hit, and you're just like stoked, and you get off stage and then you got 5 hours of more partying and hanging out and celebrating, and you do that for years or months and whatever. And you get home and you're sitting in your house and you go, I have no purpose. It's too quiet. And I have a lot of anxiety because of that. And so I would drink a lot to counteract that, to counter the anxiety, which is just making more anxiety. And then you're not resting and you're not sleeping. And now people talk about it a lot more. And it's like PTSD a little bit. I'm not saying it's like nearly as traumatic as like a war zone, but it certainly reacts in your body and brain the same way. So you have to be careful out there. And I have since stopped drinking and really recommend it to people who drink too much because I am way more balanced and can manage the roller coaster spikes. Like I can just enjoy that dopamine hit playing, and then I can not have to chase that feeling as much. Because coming home after a long tour, I would rent a hotel room for every week I was gone. I would rent a hotel room for a day. So if I was gone for 4 weeks, I'd rent it for 4 days. I'd come home, put my bags in the house, and then go, this is weird. I got to get out of here. Go to a hotel room and hang out, and then kind of walk around the town, hang out, drop it home for a minute, be like, this sucks. And then I'd go, it just like, I had to like kind of ease back into reality.
Yep.
There's nothing quite like it. I'm not sure if I answered the question, but that's my journey. Like figuring out like, oh, you have to rest and take care of yourself. Don't do drugs and drink all night.
It's a good lesson. Yeah. Well,
and it's safe,
Yeah. And I can I can relate. It's been years and years now, but I went on a couple tours across Canada, and we would call it post-tour depression. We would come home and like real life sucks. Like what's even going on here?
Oh, totally. And you like transport yourself. Like that's just tour. Like soldiers come home with really huge problems that we are just now understanding, Mm-hmm. So, again, it's not in the same frequency, but like, elevation, but, it's very real, and we got to take care of our mental health because, it's rough out there. If you open the shades to the world, it is nut jobs. And you guys up in the North End, boy, we are jealous right now. I'll tell you that. Well,
your leader there's showing us some love, as he likes to do, but we don't.
What?
I don't know.
That's news to me.
No, that's me being sarcastic. I don't know if we need to talk about it.
On behalf of Americans, we're not like that.
Yeah, I know. On a one-on-one basis, I'm sure it's fine, but there's there's some strange vibes up here about it. But I don't know if we need to go down that road. But I just like to mention, it is interesting you mentioned the adrenaline, like the adrenaline spikes carry over into like your everyday life after you do it night after night. So I think that's something a lot of listeners who don't play music, just listen to it, would never really expect or understand why that's really even a bad thing. Like these boosts of adrenaline and like, yes, this rules. And then but it starts to affect your daily life. And kind of like what you said, if you're drinking now to help yourself sleep, well, then you're probably never entering like the REM stage of sleep. So you're never actually recovering or recuperating.
Yeah, exactly. You're not resting, like legit resting. Your brain is just, which cycles into creating more anxiety and exhaustion. And then after 3 months of that, like, boy, coming home again is, what are you going to do? Well, you sleep till 2, you wake up, it's happy hour. So
you wake up, it's happy hour.
I'm going to go have a slice of pizza and like hang out for 8 hours at a bar. I got nowhere else to go. I got nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you transition into engineering did that usurp your touring life? Like, how did that flow?
Well, again, I've always been into it.
I guess I mean kind of like as a career, maybe, if that's the right word
Yeah. I mean, I've always wanted to be the man I am today. I had kids. Let's start with that. So like 9 years ago, we were like, we're expecting a kid. And I was, at that point touring with Wolf Mother and realized, I have to be home.
Yeah.
And I'm stoked. This is going to be great. And maybe I'll figure out how to tour a few times here and there with the kid, which just was like unrealistic. And so I spent more time. I mean, leading up to this, I was full-time studio already.
Okay.
When I was working in LA, I was working in Seattle. The kid really like turned it around where road was just really not an option anymore. So, and that kind of gave me the opportunity to just go full in on studio stuff, which again is still hard with a kid because studio schedules are really difficult. But that's the turning point for me where it became, studio didn't just become like, oh, cool, we're making a record, this is really fun, to, I realized this is my new instrument. I play the studio. Like every knob button, every interaction with the artist, this is the performance. I love it because this dude got ADHD and ADHD runs on chaos. And I can manage it really well. And I love knowing that I have to fix something on one side of the room while interacting with the artist on one side of the room and noticing something wrong on the other end of the room and going, I can move fast enough to do this, It's really fun. And it's still a performance to me. And when I'm tracking, it's funny. The only downtime during tracking is when the band's actually playing, and I just get to sit and go, "That was badass! Like, great! You're a monster. This is great." Or I know I don't feel great. If I'm not emotionally invested in what you're doing in there, and I'm bored, then something's wrong, and we'll fix that. There's layers and layers and layers to discussing all of that. But yeah, and then mixing records is my number one favorite thing to do now with life. Like, other than live it with kids and stuff like that, work life. Like, it's the most fun. And with my studio now in Seattle, it's been there for a couple of years now. I've moved into a new studio in Fremont, to the neighborhood in Seattle, and just building it the way I want to, making it comfortable for artists. It's got a vibe, collecting gear, using more analog gear for mixing. I'm not in the box as much. It feels great. It's my new favorite instrument, and I've been doing it for my whole life. I just didn't realize it was an instrument until I stopped touring. So anyway,
cool.
I don't know if I'm asking these questions honestly. I'm just start rambling about stuff, and then you nod, and I'm like, I'm not failing. This is great.
You're doing great, man. Yeah. I'm just like picking out follow-up questions because I'm like, okay, mixing. Like my next thought is like, when do you pick and choose the moments to be like super creative? And then when do you like go, okay, wait a minute, like I got the rough mix from the band, like I better just like keep her between the lines, even though I think doing this super cool, neat thing is the way to do it. Like, how do you fight those urges?
Oh yeah. Well, I don't fight them anymore. I usually go all in and make it. I can kind of predict the vibe of the band. This is also like a superpower that I'm coming to understand about myself is like, I know where you're coming from, because I've worked with 1,000 artists, and I've interfaced for my whole life with artists and music. So when I get a rough mix, I'm like, I see what's going on. I know how to make this better. And sometimes I will take a few chances, which will be like a little extreme on like, let's just say a vocal effect or something. I'll be like, it's pretty hip. I think we can make this song really smash, because why not take this chance? And 80% of the time, people are like, I never saw it coming. Cool, great. 20% of the time, like, actually, can you just, and I'm like, yep, I know what I did. Just give me a day,
Yeah.
and I'll go back. I like to, it also stems from, I want people to get out of the comfort zone. I want to push past, oh yeah, it sounds good. Cool. Good job. BS. I'm not standing for that. That's mediocrity. I'm not going for it. So like, if we can get out of our comfort zones a bit and like really make something that resonates with you, a listener,
mm-hmm.
and an artist that you feel like proud of. And it's a little scary because like, oh, I'm really out there. I'm like, yeah, man or lady, you are out there. And that's what people want from you. You know, it's just taking chances and again, failing thousands of times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Failure is important, and it's also like, if something sounds really good right away and it's because it sounds kind of familiar, that's like not really exciting, I guess. That's kind of probably what you're getting at a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want safe.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Do you, when you're focusing solely on mixing, and assuming the artist isn't in the room, do you interact with like the producer, do you communicate with the artist? Like what's kind of like the, I don't know, how does the diplomacy work in those sort of situations?
Yeah. Well, the day-to-day is like, I'll mix alone. And then if it's a local artist, I'll have them come in on like the last day of mix and be like, here's where we're at. How's it all feeling? And then usually another day of revisions after that. I really like to take my time. I know money's always an issue, but I try to build it in where I mix prep at home here and kind of like rehearse for a mix. And then I take it to the studio. And most times interfacing with like a producer, it'll be a list of notes in an email, and I'll be like, yeah, okay, I get it. But still, I basically scan through, I get the vibe, and then I go for it. And, again, I just throw myself at it, hoping it works. Because if I'm not doing it my way, then I'm not believing in it, and it's going to suck. So if I just throw myself into it, it generally, luckily, works out. And then, so building in that time is like, I'll spend like, let's just say 4 days on 8 songs. And then I'll build in a artist day or a producer day, and then final revisions. So like 6 days roughly. But again, we live in the world of like every single thing communicates. So it's really easy to just text or chat or whatever with people. And over the years, I will say, like earlier on in the aughts, because I'm old, like it was way more aggressive and like, no, you got to do like, put the kid, blah, 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 blah. And now it's like, and maybe it's because of my career or whatever, but also I just think generally working with people is a lot more relaxed and understanding, because like, everyone understands you're not stuck here. And I want to make that really clear with people I work with. Like, you're not stuck with this thing that I've done to you. I've butchered your music. You're not stuck. I will promise you, it's the Johnny Nails promise. I will make it the way you want it to. It's your record. You know what I mean? You hired me. I took my take on it, and it's still your record. I'm going to protect you. This is, yeah.
Yeah, that's important. That's cool. Okay, so now that you've kind of entertained, thank you for letting me kind of like pick your brain there about some random topics.
That's not random. That's my life, dude.
Well, okay, perfect. Because obviously, like the new record, Savor the Blood, you worked with Matt. Is it Bayless or Bales? I always thought it was Bales. Bayless. Okay. So you worked with him on the new record, right?
Yeah. Matt Bayless is a name you should Google. He's a bad dude.
Absolutely. He put out one of my favorite records. It's honestly been a little while since I listened to it, but it was Giant Squid. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Ichthyologist or something like that. But that album kicks ass.
No, man, he's a bad man. Yeah. He was my safe harbor. He had a studio called Red Room in Seattle that when I moved back and started making records here back in Seattle, he opened his studio up to me. He really helped me out, and I wanted to partner with him at that studio, and kind of right before COVID happened, and it all fell apart, which honestly thankful for because of where we are now. But he's a dear friend and the only engineer I like. One of like 2-3 engineers. One is Matty Green from Canada, who's also a monster. And then Matt Bayless, because I want to work so fast. I want it to happen now. And Bayless just knows, working with me over the years, like, yeah, I know where you're going. Like he can anticipate my emotions and my insanity, and he goes with it every time. And I'm thankful for him. And he makes it sound great because he's a world-class MFer. You know what I mean? So it's, I just said, hey man, I need you to mix this record because, I'll spend a year mixing my own record and it'll be a nightmare, and you can do a week, and, I trust you. So go to town. And I think I had one mix note because I have to let go. If I think about it, I'll die. So just like, yep, we're done. Cool. Sounds good. Trust you. Bye. Yeah.
That was going to be my next question, is separating, because again, that's kind of like a common trap artists will get into who do their own engineering, is that they work on it and tinker and tinker and tinker and tinker, and like nothing gets done. And then you go back and you're like, damn, mix 2 was the mix and I'm on mix 58.
100%. That is a struggle. That is real. I have gotten better over it. Got better with it over the years. But earlier on, even 10 years ago, I suffered from that greatly. I spent like a year mixing a record of my old band, The Chasers, and I learned a lot, but it wasn't worth it.
A lot of wasted time is probably not the right way to put it, but a lot of like time lost you can't get back.
Education.
Yeah. There we go. Okay. Yeah. I kind of did a rookie mistake and didn't ask you how much time you had before we started.
I'm good. I set aside an hour.
Okay, great. So let's dive into the record here a little bit. Savor the Blood. Everyone check that out. It's on, of course, streaming everywhere. It's also on Bandcamp. I guess I don't know if there's physical copies available.
You can order the vinyl on Bandcamp.
There you go.
Get that vinyl. It's clear vinyl. It has lots of great artwork. There's words on it, and it's beautiful. Wow. On Kill Room Records.
It's got yellow font, which is nice, and red background. Beautiful cover.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
So I'm always interested in how albums start and finish. Sometimes I'll like listen to track one and then listen to the final track, whatever number that might be.
You're a bread guy? You like a sandwich?
Oh, I never heard that before, but
I just made that up.
yeah. I guess I'm a bread. I tend to like new records. I'm a bread guy.
I'm a bread guy.
Well, because Blood Rat starts with this kind of like I don't know, whatever. It feels kind of weird describing like a band's music to them because you always get it wrong. But it kind of, I mean, obviously you know what I'm talking about. It like starts off with that kind of dreamy vibe and then picks up into this kind of like just ripper of a tune with sick bass tone. Yeah.
The gates to the record are deceiving, I will say, because it's like the Fifth Element singer in an electronic band singing. I did all this weird like things in my throat, and it's really awkward and uncomfortable to listen to. And then it goes into the rock song, and you're like, "Oh, I think I'm okay here." And then it shreds your face off, and then kind of ends a little pretty. So it's a nice little like, okay, I should put my seatbelt on, but we're gonna be okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I get. Yeah, because then it starts. Then it takes you in this interesting direction, and then the last track, which I probably wouldn't pronounce right, but Petrichor.
Yeah,
that's another.
You know what that is?
No, I don't. No.
It's my favorite smell. It's when it's like the first rain on asphalt.
Like the first what?
like in the desert. Well, in the desert. See, we have these in the United States. But like when it's really hot and the pavement, and the pavement's hot from the sun, and when it rains on hot pavement, there's this smell that happens, and it's called petrichor, and it just is this like really, it's like huffing an oxygen can, I don't know how to describe it. You just got to know that smell, I guess. But it's just a wonderful. It brings me memories of like partially growing up in California and blah, blah, blah. Like it brings me to California every time I smell it.
Okay.
At the risk of sounding too Anthony Kiedis. But anyway, someday you might experience that, young man.
That's a good reason to go. I've never been to the desert, so maybe I'll have to go on a smell tour.
Yeah, because when there's a desert rain, which happens often, that just like a quick little flash rain, there's nothing like it. It smells so wonderful.
That's cool. Well, since you mentioned the Chili Peppers, and this is something I normally wouldn't do because it's always lame when someone says like your music reminds me of this music, but the first vocals you meant, like the way the record kicks in is actually what totally grabbed me, that vibe, because like I'm a big fan of Josh Klinghoffer, the guitar player who like and so like that's right up my alley. I was like, man, this is cool. And then I also love punk rock and ripping tunes too. So when you married those sounds together, I was like, this is gonna be a good ride.
Nice, man. Thank you. Yeah, I'll take that as a massive compliment. Josh is a bad man. Yeah,
he's wicked. Underrated.
On that Wolf Mother tour, it was Wolf Mother, Deftones, and the Chili Peppers.
Damn, no way. Was Josh in the band at the time, or was that?
It was Josh. Yeah, and I'm a big John Frusciante fan. I mean, that's honestly Blood Sugar Sex Magic when I was like 8 years old or whatever. Yeah. That's what I cut my teeth on that record, just playing over and over and over and over and over, because the guitars are just not like anything else. And still holds up.
The documentary of that is so good. The making of with Rick Rubin or whatever.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that.
The black and white documentary.
Oh, Funky Monks. Yeah. I love that movie. Yeah, especially when I was young. I really was like, that really resonated with me.
That's cool. Yeah, Klinghoffer's totally underrated. Like, I'm with you is like such a it's up there with the only tattoo I have is a Chili Peppers tattoo. Maybe I'll mention that. But that I'm with you is so underrated in my opinion. Like that album, and then the B-sides album, I'm Beside You, is like amazing. I don't care what anyone says.
I know. I agree. Yeah, he's a monster. It's funny. The Chili Peppers are often shunned in, especially in Seattle. It's like they're not cool at all. Like I don't bring the Chili Peppers up ever. But my studio partner and I, Robert Cheek, also someone you should Google. He's a monster. Did the first Band of Horses record and blah, blah, blah. He's worked with the Deftones, etc. A shameless plug for him. But we both secretly love the Red Hot Chili Peppers because it's not like hip. I get why they're bad. I get the flippy dippy dippy doopy, but I goddamn love them, man. Like 80% of it, I'm like, nah, you better check it out again. By the way, it's a pretty good record. Anyway,
man, they do what they want when they want. They put out the music they want. It's been like 40 years. Like, what more can you ask for?
Yeah, you write a course like that. But like we always joke that we're gonna get little matching tattoos, but we're kind of scared But now that I'm admitting it to the public, I'm like, maybe we just got to go do that because.
Dude,
anyway.
I got a shirt on. I can't pull my sleeve down, but I got the asterisk classic just right on my forearm right here. That's
what we were talking about getting. Yeah.
Well, that's good. I don't care. I know exactly what you mean though about being not bringing up the Chili Peppers, even though they're probably my favorite band. Okay, so taking tea with Mr. Crowley. And me and my buddy have like traveled. We've seen them the most. Like we saw them with the Mars Volta and stuff. Anyway, we kind of traveled.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. I saw them with Mars Volta.
Wicked.
I saw actually 1999. I saw them with Flaming Lips.
Whoa.
For it was it was the Minutemen, Mike Watt, the Minutemen opening, and then Flaming Lips, which blew my brains out. With 1999, I was, I don't know how old, 16.
Crazy.
And then the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and I just was like, yeah. Actually, if you watch there's a DVD from that tour. I'm at the end of it, crawling on the crowd in a white. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That'll be my. I'll look for that. Maybe that'll be my thumbnail.
Yeah.
Send me the picture. That's awesome. Yeah. So I could nerd out with the Chili Peppers because they bring Mars Volta on tour. They bring Deerhoof on tour. Like that's crazy. Anyway.
Oh, it's awesome.
It's wicked. Yeah. So taking let's get back to the record here before we run out of time. We'll have to. This will be a Chili Peppers discovery doc.
Yeah, I'll be a very whatever. We're just gonna lean into it. So taking tea with Crowley, huh?
Yeah. Like so, that's a super cool tune. I think I read that it was like done in one take, and then so that was going to be my actual question was going to be the harmonies because it's like the evil kind of like dissonant harmonies, just right up my alley too. I thought that was really cool, but kind of risky. Maybe I don't know if that's the right word. But then also I heard that it was like a one take song, which of course like that's always like an interesting thing to ask about. Yeah,
well, my crew, my band, are a bunch of monsters. I'm really fortunate enough to play with like what I would consider the best dudes in Seattle. And yeah, we just got in the studio. Oh, blah, 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 that's boring. Whatever. We're in the studio, and that was the first take. So we got done with it, and I was like, "There's no way we're recreating that chaos." Like, because there's a section towards the end that is just pots and pans falling downstairs, but it's kind of beautiful chaos. Like we know, like. You can tell we know what we're doing, but do they know what they're doing? I don't know. And it ends, it resolves, and it comes back into the re-intro to end the song. And we got done with that, and I just looked at the drummer, and I looked at the bass player. The drummer is Andy King, and Mike Sparks is the bass player. And I went, okay, we're done. And I took my guitar off, and Mike was like, no, we should do that again. I'm like, no way, dude. There's no way we're recreating that. That was way too perfect. And not like we don't play it like that all the time, but that it was just, it felt right. And I wanted to honor that, like that's why I'm here, So it was a moment in time.
And you trust your instinct and don't even do a second take. Just keep the first. So you don't even have the choice.
I didn't even want a second. The band kind of was like, we should maybe do another one. I'm like, no friggin' way, dude. I'm not even giving you the chance. We're not arguing over what take. Like that was it.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool. That's because you put out the video for it too. And I guess technically that was the first song I heard, which is what made Blood Rats even more impactful, because you hear Taking Tea with Mr. Crowley and then you hit play on track 1 and you're like, whoa.
Yeah. It's a little all over the map. I mean, I think it is cohesive, but it is, there are some jumps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we can talk about, I might say it wrong. It's Ascension or Ascensier.
Yeah. Oh, well, because of your location, but it's Ascension.
Ascension. Okay.
It's bad. Yeah.
That's got some wicked bass lines in it. Like the groove in that is like kind of like syncopated or whatever, but that's like a Spanish, like a classic, what's the right word? Traditional Spanish tune that you reworked, or?
Yeah. So my great uncle, I'm from a long line of musicians. My great grandfather was a touring guitar player in mariachi bands and wedding bands in Mexico and the southern United States. And my grandfather and his brother, my grandfather David and his brother Francisco, aka Frank, would sit around the table and drink tequila at my nana's house, my great grandmother's house, and sing songs all night, because that's what you do. And I have some tapes from that. And one of these songs was Ascension, Ascension, Ascension. And I loved it. And also it makes me teary just to think about his voice. But I was like, I need to pay homage to this. I've never written a song in Spanish. I am part Mexican. I resonate with my, Chicano roots, and I wanted to just give a little bit. I wanted to try to see if I could do it, and the lyrics of that are not profound to me, in the Spanish portion of the song. But Ascension is the course that I took and kept it. And then in the bridge, it's a little more, it's an English bridge, which is a little more preachy, Joe Cocker preachy. It was really fun and emotional. And I always like playing that song live too, because I can kind of, channel your ancestors, as it were, like, oh yeah, all these guys played guitar and did this. And, maybe my great grandfather wasn't the best guy, but it's coming through,
Mm-hmm.
So it's really fun for me to be able to do it.
Cool. Yeah. And I really enjoyed, I did happen to come across that backstory a bit in another interview you did, but I didn't know that when I first heard the record. And that song, I guess I'm a bass player, so I kind of eat in on the bass line specifically in that one. But anyway, it jumped out to me right away as a really cool, really good groove on that. Yeah. Cool. So we're getting close to the hour mark here. So maybe
hit me.
Okay. Well, okay. Maybe I'll sneak in one quick question. So you mentioned you're going mixing more outside of the box, like more analog.
Yeah.
Does that ever cause issues with recalling a mix if you have to come to it after or like later down the road?
It only causes slight panic. But I take, so now I have a system where, it's, I just, because we have phones, I video every mix that while I'm printing a mix, I video every knob that I'm using and do a close up and then I take that, I airdrop it to my computer into that song folder. And then every mix after that, I just reference that. And if it changes, then I'll re-video every knob. Okay. But you used to put like pieces of tape on gear and be like, oh, that's it. And it will never ever sound the same as it did that day. You just have to be prepared for that and wiggle a little bit here and there. But if it's a little bit different, well, sometimes it's better, you know? It's certainly not going to be worse. So I've accepted it. And I use a lot of a lot of knobs without detinting. So like, it's a lot of flowing. There's no like clicks, you know what I mean? There's no,
Yep.
a lot of there's like 4 retro channel strips, and those are all just smooth knobs. So you're ballparking as close as you can, you know? But if it sounds right, then it's right.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's all about trusting your ears, I guess, eh?
Yeah, totally. And honestly, coming back for like a revision and or a recall, I've, maybe tightened a little low end, like, this could be better. It always gets better. So,
okay. That's cool. Well, thanks a lot. I don't know if I should call you Ryan or Johnny Nails here at the end of the interview.
Yeah. Well, Ryan works. Johnny Nails is me as well. It is confusing.
Ryan, would you say Ryan's the engineer and Johnny's the shredding guitar player?
All Johnny Nails, baby.
It's all Johnny Nails. So where's the best place for everyone to reach out to Johnny Nails? Not just the musician, but also if they want you to mix their next record.
Oh yeah. You can find me on Instagram at Johnny Nails. Is easy to slip into my DMs, or you can email me. I don't know if I should drop my email here, but you can slip into my DMs on Johnny Nails Instagram. It's pretty easy to find me. It's pretty easy to find anyone these days, especially you. You know who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking to right now. I'm going to find you.
Perfect. So if you want your music mixed, and maybe you're not going to murder them, but maybe you'll teach them something.
No, I would love to work on I'd be honored to work on a record if anyone will have me.
And now let's end the chat with one more Red Hot Chili Peppers Love Fest moment, because this is a pure coincidence. The last person I interviewed, he plays in a band called Caged Animals. He's like from the New York, Brooklyn scene, but he moved up here to New Brunswick. He's buddies with the dude who ghost wrote Scar Tissue, the Anthony Kiedis book.
Oh.
And like, I never talk about the Chili Peppers with anyone, especially interview guests. And it's just hilarious that the guy right before you also has this strange Chili Peppers connection.
What? I want to know about that. Is that on the interview before?
It's on, so I haven't released that interview yet, but if you, the guy who ghost wrote, his name's Ratso. I guess he's like connected to Bob Dylan. He wrote Mike Tyson's book too, he's like a known guy in the New York world, I guess, but.
Easy.
But if you Google Ratso, I'm sure it would come up.
I'm going to find that.
Gemini's looking it up for me right now, apparently. Thanks, Gemini. Cool. Okay. Well, thanks a lot, Johnny Nails. That was friggin' awesome.
Oh, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate you. Thanks for making it happen.
Yeah, no problem. And maybe we'll do it again sometime.
Anytime. We'll turn out anytime about gear, Chili Peppers, whatever you want. Okay,
cool. Yeah. We can come back on once you get your tattoo, your Chili Peppers tattoo. You can let me know. Keep me updated.
All right, man.
Cool.
Take care.
See ya.
Cheers.